Remember when we first met? Oh, I remember it felt like such a big build-up because like we shared a best friend but we didn't know each other, and I really wanted to dislike you, and it was totally out of jealousy.
Yeah, no, I hated you. But it was so stupid because we shared this mutual friend and we just had this instant competition of like, we can't both be friends with this person.
It took me to relearn to focus on like not on the comparisons or the jealousy, but more so just like the acceptance and the like support of just accepting who you are and who I am. And honestly, like that rewiring is kind of really powerful.
I think that's like so typical of the female experience. Like any girls you meet, they're like, oh, I hated my friend when I met her. Yeah. And it's like such a thing that we feel like we're always comparing ourselves against each other. And yeah, but the more that we sort of, you know, moved in the same circles and so coincidentally got little snippets of like actually who the other person was. And then especially now, as we've gotten older and like more secure in ourselves, I've like realized that you are the most like genuinely kind person and you're so open-minded and like, you know, all of that competition and that jealousy stood in the way of, you know, me potentially finding that out. You are a very easy person to be friends with, I think. And like you don't have crazy expectations of your friends. And it's really comforting for me because I'm someone who is pretty generally like insecure about my ability to maintain friendships. And I think that's especially true for female friendships. And it's maybe because I don't always have the emotional vulnerability, or I'm not able to offer the emotional depth that other girls can. And I kind of wonder if you feel like that's a strength of yours, or if it feels kind of natural for you, and like how do you nurture your female friends?
Oh, thank you. I mean, I don't know, I guess I'm pretty lucky to be quite an empathetic person. Like, and before I even knew what empathy was, I kind of learnt that I wanted to make people feel comfortable and feel heard and like ultimately just feel good about themselves. Like, I think at the end of the day, that's all any of us want. And I mean, that was just generally. So when it comes to the people that I love, like who I have those deep connections with, like to be able to provide that to them, it does almost just feel effortless. But at the same time, it just never feels like enough. Like proper, genuine female friendships just provide me with so much more than I could ever give. Like their happiness is my happiness and their success is my success. Like the emotional intimacy, that safe place, that pure encouragement. I just, honestly, when I have those relationships, it's almost like I could never truly be lonely. I mean, what do you feel like your obstacles are in maintaining those kind of relationships?
I guess early on, there's like that one factor of, you know, we're taught that girly things are like inherently silly or trivial. Yeah. Like, you know, boy bands or fashion or even being highly emotional. And so I think like probably a lot of us grew up thinking, oh, I don't like those silly girly things. I do what the boys do. I'm a serious person. And that just puts like even more of a wedge between you and the girls around you. And it makes it trickier right from the outset. But then like all of that aside, like gender aside, I feel like a big problem for me and for a lot of people is that we have really high expectations of our friends, and like we expect that the values that we have and the behaviors that we have should be reflected in everyone around us. Yeah. And not everyone has those same values, and so, you know, not one friend can be your friend for everything. You know, we've got different friends for different things. And you know, at the end of the day, we're all living our own adult lives. And so if you were to ask me to hang out at the drop of a hat and I had something on, you wouldn't be offended by that. And you wouldn't take that personally because you know that I'm just doing my my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I do wonder, and I feel like I can ask you this because I do trust you so much. Like, do you think that there's anything that I could do differently to sort of make you feel more seen or more valued in our relationship? Because I know that I can be quite blunt and quite abrasive, and I'm a very loud presence, and I do sometimes wonder how that makes the people around me feel.
Oh, glad you asked. Where to start? I mean, like, to begin with, you're always your harshest critic. Like, you got to give yourself more credit. You're an amazing friend, but like, I think over time I've learnt you. I've learnt our relationships. Like, I've learnt that we don't rely on daily or weekly or monthly messages to feel like our friendship is secure.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't talk, it's not due to lack of connection. It's more due to like the depth of our connection, that we're not relying on it to feel.
Love that.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. But maybe when it comes to new friendships, it might be more about communicating what is expected to be able to feel valued. I think a really beautiful way to feel valued in a friendship is just through like sharing, like sharing just a message of thinking of you, I hope you're having a nice day, or a simple, this made me think of you, or this made me smile, so I'm going to send it to you. And like sharing like your big wins, but sharing your small wins, like sharing that joy and being able to experience it together. I think that's just like a beautiful way to know that you're valued and cared for and seen.
And that's literally like the best thing about friendship, is when you get into like that flow state, and it's just like pure excitement feeding excitement. And I feel like we get like that when we're sitting there and we're furiously like nodding at each other, and you're just so excited to see the other person win and to like talk about their goals, and you want to be the person that's just constantly sitting beside them, like fanning the flame and like helping them get to that place.
Yeah. I just love like the diversity that a single interaction can hold.
Yes.
Like, you could be crying, just like letting it all out, and then getting that support and getting through it, and then the next thing you know, you're laughing, like hysterically laughing, like whether it be about what you were just crying about or something completely different. And then next thing you know, you're talking about your dreams and your hopes, and you're both encouraging each other to just like go and shoot for the stars, and you can do it, and you're the best. And like, I feel like it's just at the end of every interaction, I just feel so much lighter and almost like invigorated to be the best version of myself. And I feel like when you find a friendship that offers that, that's when you know that it really deserves to be treasured.